Are you just dreading the day, if it hasn't happened already, where you gotta put your fun sports car away for the winter months to come? Otherwise, you might end up like this guy. Yeah, that doesn't look like a fun time, so it's probably best to make the responsible adult decision and hang those keys up to your fun C5 Corvette and put it away for the winter months to come. And the other responsible thing to do is to get out that battery tender and get it all dusted off and hooked up to the car, so come springtime, your C5 Corvette is ready to roar to life once again. And as you reluctantly hook those battery cables up to keep your battery charged, you think that, yeah, I should probably shut the hood while it's on the battery tender so no one tampers with my precious LS1 engine. And then you see, man, the hood is pinching the cable on the fender. That's probably not a good thing, otherwise I might end up like Harry from Home Alone. Well, lucky for you, Automotive has a solution for you. The newly developed C5 Corvette Hood Prop, designed specifically for the C5 Corvette to slot over those hood latches and keep your hood propped up just enough so that battery tender cable has nice room to come out of the engine bay and not get pinched and frayed and possibly pose risk for electrocution. Poor Harry from Home Alone. So hop on to the Automotive Etsy store today and get yourself a set of C5 Corvette hood props for a mere $30, 3D printed from an ASA polymer that is durable and robust for all kinds of automotive applications. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that little bit of an infomercial style intro to the video. I thought I'd have a little fun with this one as I release and announce this new product. So this is a product that I've had in mind for a while now, that I wanted to document the process of announcing that it's for sale through this video, and also just showing you guys the development process for it. Now, these hood props are a relatively simple item. They're not technically challenging or complicated by any stretch of the imagination, and a lot of people probably use just common things found around the house, like a block of wood or rags, to do this function. But as a car enthusiast, you always, I know, try and find all of the fun little accessories to make the experience with your special car that much more fun and special. So I have 3D printers at my disposal. Obviously, it's a huge passion and hobby of mine. I do it for my full-time engineering job as well. So I'm well versed in CAD, so that has allowed me to whip up a lot of custom designs for all of the stuff I'm doing at home. And then once I can whip those designs up, I'll throw them on the printers that I've got in my garage here and get this new product prototyped. So I'm going to whip them up in SolidWorks and just kind of come up with a rough design that I think is going to work based on my hand measurements with my calipers, and we'll go from there. So I got my first design all prototyped up. I got the printer running some calibration and getting it all set up for running the first build here. And this is a quick time lapse of me setting up the build in the slicer software, and then a quick time lapse of the printer doing its calibration. It's got that crazy LiDAR sensor where it actually scans and actively compensates the extrusion width and flow of the material, and a quick time lapse of the part as it begins to build. It's amazing how fast you can prototype and whip up a design. This happened in less than an hour, I would say, to maybe 2 hours by the time I did all the measurements, design work on CAD, and then printed it. I had a little bit of issues with warping on the front left corner there on this one. Sometimes that's a common problem, especially with a higher temperature material like ASA, but there's other print features like brims and rafts or bed adhesion promoters that you can use to combat that. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this first result. So now it's time to fit check it over that hood latch slot. And I had some issues with the fitment of that latch and the cutout that I made on the prop. Now the prop is doing its function now, but it's not sitting flush with the hood. It's kind of angled forward. And this is kind of due to just the interesting shape that I noticed on the that little hood latch catch I don't know what to call that thing, but that hood latch catch is what I'm going to refer to it as. It doesn't sit perfectly level in the car. It's slightly raked. I believe it's raked forward slightly. So I have to compensate for that in the cutout direction angle on the hood prop itself. So this is me whipping up a second set or a second piece. Probably doesn't help with the warping that I was opening the door, but this one actually turned out really good. It was very square and level on that build surface, so happy to see that the warping was solved on this one. But yeah, so prototyped up a new design. The first thing I think I thought of was I thought the design or the cutout was just too tight, so I added more clearance to the slot. But this is where I kind of found out that it's not, it's not a matter of clearance issues. It's a matter of uh, that hood latch catch kind of is raked forward, so you have to compensate for that. So here's a quick little snippet of what the model looks like in SolidWorks. This is the refined model, pretty much close to the release version that I have for sale now. So this is now, I've incorporated a angled slot, a orientation indicator with an arrow that says forward, and then also some relief cuts on the side just to kind of help, with your fingers. Ideally, my thought was that you kind of put your fingers there and grip that as you're putting that on. Just kind of like a nice touch feature that to have on the part. Okay, so getting another build going. This is the build that is representative of the geometry that I just showed you guys on the video here. So it has the angled latch cutout, it has the orientation arrow and the text, and then it has those little relief cuts on the side for a place to kind of put your fingers as you slide this thing over the hood latch catch. So let's fit check this thing on the car and see how well it fits. I'm hoping at that time that the angled cut was what was going to do the trick to get this thing to sit level, and it looks like that was what was needed. So instead of a straight vertical cut for that clearance for the hood latch catch, it needed to be lofted forward. And as you can see, the top surface of the hood prop sits nice and flush and level with the hood itself. So bingo there on the design. So this is going to be the final design for version 1. I revision control all of my parts and design. So version 1, this is the locked version that's going to go up for sale on my Etsy store. So they are live now if you want to get yourself a set. They are sold as a set, but each part is not unique to the driver or passenger side. They can be used on either side, but they do have to sit in a special orientation, hence the arrow and the orientation text there. If you put it the wrong way, facing backwards, it just won't sit right, and you'll very clearly know that. So I'm happy to kind of show you guys this process. I just want to make this a quick video to show you a basic example of designing and rapidly iterating a design through CAD, and then 3D printing is what enables me to do this, and how I can take a thought and turn that into a physical item in a relatively short amount of time. It's pretty cool to see how fast I could prototype and mock all these up. Granted, this is a very simple part that's not technically challenging by any stretch of the imagination. Very simple in function, doesn't have really any performance requirements other than just has to support partially the weight of the hood, but just cool nonetheless to see the ability to go from a design on the computer to a physical item in a short amount of time. And I was joking in the beginning, I know a lot of guys in the cold areas have to put their cars away, but I keep my car on a battery tender year round, so I use these every week as well. So here's a quick example of all the prototypes that I designed and iterated throughout this process here. So that's going to do it, guys. If you are interested in getting a set for yourself, either for yourself or someone you know that's a C5 Corvette owner, these are great stocking stuffers for the holidays coming up and Christmas. So get yourself a set, hop on my Etsy store. So thank you guys so much for watching. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. More 3D printed parts to come.